arrive, and you guys are in your Chin apothecary shop with your mother. And I guess this was like right after she had given you the daggers and stuff, right, Stephen? Or was this a little after that?
I think it was directly after when we finished.
Okay. All right. So Kenny, you return.
Ouija strides in and greets his boss and his brother. Like, how did
You
things
wouldn't be
go?
greeting me. I'm outside drinking wine.
Oh,
in the
I'll
dark.
probably just and greet Dalphon then and just be like, "Yo, sup,
Oh,
my nigga."
brother, you're back.
Uh, did anything happen while I was gone? And I assume you give me a breakdown.
Yeah, quite a bit actually. That I explain everything to him, including the fact that our mother is Saffron Tigress.
I'll just nod at her and say, I knew you were Saffron Tigress when Iron God Mung was kowtowing to you in the fields that night.
She says you were spying on me.
I was spying on Iron God Mung because I didn't trust him, but you just happened to be there, so...
She nods and she says, "Oh, go ahead, go ahead."
And I say, I didn't want to tell anyone since I knew you didn't want people to know, so I kept quiet about it.
So, so she sits down and she says, "Well, now that you know, what do the two of you think we should do?"
It, um, so is Yuan the last member of the Yuan Mei? What was the one? What was the temple called?
One May.
One May
Or
Temple.
yeah, is Yuan the last remaining member of the Wan Mei Temple?
He is, but he has many connections within the Empire.
Mm. And the Emperor is after you as well. Why did you not move out of the Empire with Father before, while things were still quiet?
Because we were doing too much good within the Empire.
And I didn't say help. What smuggling people out is definitely a good deed.
She says, "Do you know what they do to heroes when they catch them here?"
Do I know about Yao?
Um, do you have like knowledge creatures or imperial bureaucracy would even?
Didn't we fight some Yao in the past? I think you were there for it as well, Kenny.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
where we met
thinking,
Tyler.
did anyone explain to us what Yao was? I think what's his face?
I actually had some information on Yao. I'd heard some rumors because I had my place and stuff, and I explained it. But I explained it drunkenly and badly. So.
I think Hell Burning Sword might have done some explanation on what Yao was as well.
Okay. All right. So you probably have some.
I say they turn them into Yao, right?
She says, "Sometimes yes. It depends. Other times, if they find a use for you, like they did with Yunwan, then they don't insist upon it."
So Yun serves the Emperor now.
This is what I believe. Yes.
Oh no, say he was looking for you. I ran into him into the forest a couple of weeks ago, in the Yao Guai forest.
So he's already connected us, and
He asked me if I knew who Saffron Tigress was, but at that time I didn't, so I could answer honestly. And then after that, shortly after, we were attacked by two Yao.
she says, I think we need to get rid of him, or he's going to become a problem."
Yes, he may be one of the few people who still know you by your appearance. How is his kung fu? Is he masterful fighter?
He was. Oops, I think I'm picking up some background noise, guys. If that's
Yeah.
Um, his skills were paltry as a student, but from what I've heard, he's grown considerably in recent years.
Then then we need a way to lure him out and finish him off once and for all before the Emperor can get involved. The Emperor and his lackeys can get involved.
She says, "What do you suggest?"
I have no fucking idea. I didn't say that.
Some back sass right there.
I don't know, bitch. You tell me.
So to lure someone into a trap, you need bait, I guess, and the best bait would obviously be yourself, but there's no way we'd want to put you at risk.
The manual. I could make a copy of the manual a fake.
I'm sorry, just because I was watching Brave Archer 2 earlier, and this was copying the manual thing. We changed words here and there, up to down, left to right. I'll nod and say perhaps that will be enough to lure him out, but what is the manual? What's in the manual anyway?
She says it's the manual of Master Ruan. It's really more of a collection of sayings and principles than techniques when you actually examine it.
Will he know if we make a fake, if we adjust the contents?
Well, we don't need him to read it. We just need him to think that it's present somewhere, and we can spring a trap for him.
Well, since he was active near the Yaoguai forest, and that's where we also ran to the Yao, maybe we can find a way to use the Long Ma horn. I don't know. Do you have any ideas that far?
You could perhaps put out word that we'll be hosting an auction and that this will be one of the things for sale.
We could use Iron God Mung as a resource for this, possibly. How did the feast go, by the way?
I don't think they were. Yeah, they
We
were
were
present.
present for it. We were trying to sort out Boris Drunken Sword's poisoning.
What was that I roll, Kenny?
I turn away for one moment and you get yourself poisoned.
Yeah, you guys.
You're
Are,
at a party.
Dude, your brother told me it wasn't poisoned.
yeah, you guys are probably dangerously out of date with your news on all of the Lady 87 stuff.
And Iron God Mung and stuff, yeah. At this point, by the way, Boris Drunken Sword would probably stroll back into the house, knocking down an empty wine gourd and going, "Oh, that was some excellent wine, Auntie. Thank you." And, like, just sit down on the floor somewhere.
So she looks.
Why
at
are
him
there two Wujis?
Alright, boss.
Right.
Can I just like check his pulse while he's like sort of pointing? Why is there two of you?
Why is there
Probably erratic at the very least.
Can I just check for residual signs of poisoning if possible?
Yeah, why don't you make a roll? Did you cured that, right? You took the antidote.
I took the antidote, yeah. We've also got another dose of the antidote and also another 2 gourds of a wine. I think it was 2 with poison inside of them. They're all poisoned, which Dalfan has.
Yes. Can I do a poison roll to check if he is still poisoned then?
Yes.
You fuck up and you poison me.
An 8 at the highest.
All right. No, he's fine. He's fine. Did they tell you what? Does your character know what poison he was he was afflicted with, or is that hasn't even been revealed yet to you?
I mean, if they were telling me about it, and
Yeah,
they,
we told him. We'd have told him
Okay.
it was alcohol.
So
Well,
so you know-
Dalton talked about
so-
it, but did you mention what poison specifically was
Yeah.
used?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
but,
Kenny, what you know is the poison is made from a blend of spider and centipede venom, and then silkworm eggs are soaked in it. And when you consume the eggs, they take root and spread these silken tendrils throughout your body. That
pretty fucking metal.
it's well, and again, it causes racking pain, and you die within 20 days.
Okay.
I thought it was 10 days of symptoms showing.
Yeah, it's
Or is
10
it-
days after. So it's basically within 10 days the symptoms will show up, and then within 10 days of the symptoms showing up, you will die.
You will die.
Yeah.
There was also a messenger who got poisoned, but we couldn't find him to give him antidote.
Not
Oh,
having looked.
the poor medicine guy. The
No,
poor-
it's the guy who delivered it to me.
Yeah.
It was like, here's the wine. And I was like, oh, well, seeing as you came such a long way to give me wine, do you want to have a glass first? I gave it to him. And I was like, well, if it was poisoned, you'd probably be dead now, so it must be good, right? And he was like, what, poisoned? Oh.
And then you extorted him out of 2 silver taels.
I didn't extort him, that was Dalfan.
So what were you saying about Longmaw Hall, son?
Yeah, a bunch of bastards.
Because I was thinking, my initial thought was that since they have a grudge with us and the 87 killers, if they heard that this Yun-Wan person was also an enemy, they might try to seek him out for an alliance. But that's too risky because Longmire Hall is also quite a power in its own right, and we can't. It would may spiral out of control if we try to use them.
She says,
What are we talking about?
we need to lure out Yun-Wan so that we can kill him.
Well, why don't we just start a rumor that Boris Drunken Sword says that Yun-Wan has a tiny willy. And then surely he'll come try and find me to fight me.
He's not a stupid man.
I mean, he's looking for a tiger. You know what they say about that? You get your hands bitten. You know, that's dumb.
Maybe what we can do is, what techniques are in the scroll? If I can learn one, I can use that technique to defeat some Mahal people without killing them, and then they will go back and spread the news that I have the technique. And then Yun-Wan will come.
There are no techniques in the manual. She says, "Come with me, I will show you." And,
It's the Kama Sutra. Don't go!
she takes you out to the tea
Some lines
fields,
should not be crossed.
and she takes a spade and digs up, and takes a manual, that like an old bamboo scroll manual, and hands it to you.
And it's just like sayings and stuff.
Well, when you look at it, it's the manual of Master Ruan, and it's really just a scroll containing a sutra that tells the story of a man who searched the world for Wan Mei, and it's quite lengthy. But it looks like it looks very, very disappointing if one thinks they're seeking. If they have their hands on a very powerful manual. This is, it would take you an evening to read it and digest its wisdom, but it doesn't look like there's any martial arts in this thing.
Mother, if the manual doesn't contain any form of techniques, then why is Yun-Wan? Yun-Wan. Why is Yun-Wan so intent to obtain it?
Because he doesn't know what the contents are.
And why do you need to keep it away from him if it's just some useless fairy tale story?
This was a final instruction from my master. I had to obey.
Fair enough. Have you ever tried setting it on fire or something to see if there's a hidden message underneath it?
She shakes her head and says, "No, I've never considered this."
Hmm.
It's just a sutra, really. And
Speaking of things that have never been considered, right? I've got an argument going on with my wife, and I could do with getting your answer,
I'll start
lady.
reading the scroll while while he's rambling on about his wife.
Have you ever rubbed your husband's feet or your children's feet when they're all tired and blistered and stuff? To give relief.
she says, if you want to fix your marriage, I suggest that you stop drinking. This will resolve most of your problems. And she
That's impossible. I just shake my hand and go, that's impossible. But have you ever rubbed your husband's feet?
she sort of just glares at you and says this is a very inappropriate conversation.
What do you mean? My mother rubbed my feet all the time when I was a little kid. I miss it.
She just looks at both of you and says, where did you find this person?
I just shake my head and guess he's the son-in-law or the grandson-in-law of Lady 87.
Worst mistake in my life. Don't tell I said that.
And I'll just say, he has his martial arts are pretty good, but despite his drinking vice and his marital problems, and I shrug and say, well, you learn to bear, you learn to filter it out, and in a quiet voice, filter it out after a while.
She just shakes her head. And Kenny, reading this, basically the ultimate point of this thing is that what it reveals is that the style of kung fu that Master Gu Ruan taught is more effective if you're a good person, essentially. That's really all it has to say.
I was hoping you'd say drunk for a second.
No.
Did they get into what a good person means? I remember Flying Dagger from the previous campaign having this issue as well of trying to become a good person.
We can be a good person by killing bad people.
It doesn't really get into that. That's it doesn't define goodness.
Damn. I'll just say, can I read this while I'm staying tonight, and then I can see if there's no secrets, then we can start making a copy of this.
She nods. She says, just make sure that the contents are different. And she says, son, what weapons do you use?
I'll just pat my longbow, composite bow, and just say I prefer using the bow. You know, I like to run around in the wilderness, and the bow has been useful for hunting and such.
She says there are not many who employ this as their main weapon in the martial world, at least not in this region. She says, I wanted to teach you one of my techniques. Have you ever considered using the fly whisk?
I can use the rope dart. That's similar to a fly whisk. So,
let me see here.
I do. I've got for mechanical purposes. I have 2d10 in light melee and expertise in rope dart. So, if fly whisk is light melee, then they're transferable technically.
All right. Do you have Nigong?
I do not.
It's going to be a problem. She says, I've given your brother some daggers, but I have not given you anything.
Give him some wine. He'll like that. You've got good stuff.
She says, I will find a solution. We will find you a bow technique somehow. And oh, go ahead.
Is it inappropriate to touch your mother on the shoulder?
I think it's okay. I don't think it's a problem.
I just touch her lightly on the shoulder and
You
say,
nasty pervert!
I wasn't really sure what the proper there's the whole men and women should be in contact type of thing, which
My mother rubbed my feet, but she was never as brazen as that.
I've never touched my wife's shoulder. And I'll just say, like, as long as you and Dad can stay safe, and Dalfang, of course, then that's all I could ever ask for.
What about me?
I just look over and say, you have Lady 87 to look after you.
Yeah. Look after my left eyeball, more like.
She says, "You are a good son." She says, We will take care of this Yunwan, and then we will all be safe."
And so perhaps you would consider a disguise, since Silver Chrysanthemum had your picture already. But it'll be difficult because everyone in Dalshi already knows what you look like.
She
I
says,
still think I should just insult one person, and then he can fight me, and we can just kill him. No problem.
So she says, I'm very tired of hiding, so I think that the direct approach now is the best."
Excellent! My ideas on the cards! I just, run out of the house, and I start yelling, "Everyone has a tiny penis! You heard it from me, Boris Drunken Sword first! It's so shriveled up and tiny, you can't even measure a shrew."
All right. A really outraged man is nearby when you start doing this, and he looks over at you, and he says, "What are you going on about?"
Well, this guy, Yunwan, I was bathing in a lake nearby a few days ago, and I saw his penis, and it was shriveled and tiny.
So, number one, what's your empathy?
Empathy, I've got 1d10.
All right. Okay, so you don't know why, but this guy's just marching up to you, and he's got like a sheathed sword, and and it looks like he's raising it up like he's going to start smashing you with it.
I'll enter my sword stance and put my hand on my sword. And I go, "Who are you, defender of tiny penises?"
He says, "I'm Master Chen Bu Wei, and you're a filthy man, and I'm going to teach you to speak properly."
Wait, is that the Swordmaster Chen?
Are you a disciple? Are you a disciple of Yunwan?
He says, "Who's Yunwan?"
A guy with a tiny penis.
He says, "Stop saying that." And can you make a speed roll?
I'll make a speed roll. Is this for initiative?
This is for initiative. Yeah, this guy's pissed at you.
Yeah, I get an extra 1d10 for initiative, as I've got speed expertise, so I'm rolling 4d10.
He got an
I
8.
just want to say,
10, and I'm in sword stance, so I'm at 13.
All right, you got to go first.
if you win this fight and you injure him sufficiently, we have the pretense, we have the excuse to send my father there to treat him as apologies for causing the sword wound, and we can dose him with Celestial Plume. Not that the drug trade thing is still a major priority, but
I'm going to try and cut him, but at his waist, with the intention of dropping his trousers whilst also potentially injuring him.
Okay. So why don't you?
How far away from
what technique are you using?
I suppose I will try and use Deep Biting Blade.
And you want to make him drop his trousers?
Yeah. Actually, it's not Deep Biting Blade. It's just Biting Blade, but I've got it at the moment.
Here's what I'll rule. You can do that.
It's a cool shot type.
What you can basically do is you can basically allocate certain points, dice from the damage roll towards the belt, and the belt will be against parry or something. So however many you want to deduct from your damage, you can do that and shift it towards the belt.
Okay.
So you can still damage it too. But
using Biting Blade, it's any melee against parry at minus 1d10.
All right.
I use a Jian sword, which is medium melee, and I get 2d10 from that, so that'll be 4d10. The damage is roll twice the normal damage, which I believe is muscle plus 1d10. So that's 3d10 becomes 6d10.
All right. So
if I put 2d10 towards trying to drop his trousers, would that be fine?
Yeah. Did you make your attack roll?
I haven't made the attack roll yet.
Why don't we do that first? But yeah, that would be fine.
So 4d10
Fighting blade against parry. I got a nat 10.
All right.
Also, on a total success, the attack also inflicts an extra wound.
All right, so let me just see if he manages to whirling dodge. I don't think
Sure
he
thing.
has the sufficient amount of athletics. He does not whirling dodge. So you hit
Okay,
him.
so I subtract my Waija from his hardiness, which is 3 Waija. So his hardiness is -3.
Okay,
What
and
about
also
the
I should
belt?
say he's wearing robes, so it's not going to be. You're going to be.
I mean, I don't mind if it just cuts around the like robe and stuff. Just
No, I
to
mean you
drop
can
it.
do it. I'm just saying it's not going to be the effect of his trousers coming down. It's going to be a more nuanced maneuver.
I understand. So, I will roll 2d10 first to try and determine whether I manage to drop his trousers.
All right, so that'll be
His
parry.
robes. I got a 9 at the highest.
All right, so you basically cut off the bottom portion of his robes, leaving his bare legs and waist region exposed
Sure.
to the cold.
And the actual wound, 4d10 against hardness. I got an 8 at the highest, and it's also inflicts 1 extra wound because I got the total success.
Okay, so if that affects him, it's 1 + 1 extra wound, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. So you do 2 wounds to him. All right. So you embarrass him and you slice him across the back, and he huffs and is quite angry and starts spinning into a violent sort of twirling frenzy with an oxtail dowel. And
Can I say one thing just before he strikes at me?
Mhm.
I go, friend, you're reasonably well endowed. Why defend those with tiny willies?
He says, "Stop talking filth," and you can see his oxtail is
Willy?
still sheathed. What?
Oh, his willy is still sheathed.
No.
He's got a cock sock.
My girlfriend's giving me dirty looks.
All right, he got an 8 against your parry.
My parry is 7.
All right, so it's going to succeed unless you counter it.
I will try and do a whirling dodge, I suppose. Do I need to do that cathartically? Let me just look down to whirling dodge. Is he a higher chi rank than me?
What your chi rank 4?
Yeah, chi
He
rank
is
4.
higher chi rank, and also he looks like he's in like a weird frenzied state. Like this is not going to end after this strike, if you know what I mean. Like you're just getting like this tornado of motion from this guy.
Okay. I'll do a cathartic whirling dodge then as a counter. So that's athletics TN set by the opponent's attack, which was 8. So 3d10 against a 8. Yeah. And if I succeed, it does no damage. And I got a 6 at the highest, so it hits me.
All right, so he's gonna hit you then, unless he does. We'll see if it does the actual damage. What's your hardiness?
My hardness is 8 by default. I've also drunk an entire gourd of that nice, expensive, exquisite wine that their mother gave me. Would that give me 2 degrees of drunkenness or just 1?
1.
Okay, my hardness will be 9 then.
Okay. All right, so he just gets you. And let me see here. The effect is you take 1 wound from that, and you take 5 additional wounds. And he's just
Whoa, how many
screaming.
wounds?
5. So you take 6 wounds total.
6 wounds total.
Yep.
Okay.
And he's continuing to spin, and it's your turn. And he did hit you with the flat, like the sheathed sword. You didn't get hit with a blade or anything. So he's not trying to kill you.
That fucking hurt you, overreacting bastard. I don't care if you've got a reasonable sized penis. Take this! And I'll do a blade of a dancing fox on him.
Okay.
Cathartically.
All right. Can you make an attack roll?
I would be happy to. Just bringing up the technique. There we go. So it's speed against parry. And so that's 3d10. Oops, dropped one of the die. So I've got a 3, a 6, and a 2. Does a 6 succeed?
Against his parry?
Yeah.
No. This guy's pretty good.
Okay.
That seems to be a strong suit. All right, so it's his turn again. He's got no choice but to continue with this attack. And he got an 8 on his
Then
attack.
run out.
What?
Is there enough time for?
Yeah. Do you want to?
hear
Do you
this
want to
attack?
step in?
Do I want to step in?
You can at least step out to observe.
Yeah, sure. I'll can I just run out and fire? Oh yeah, that. Stop, friend, and I'll shoot an arrow at him.
All right. So make a speed roll, and then you can come in after we resolve the attack against Elliot. So Elliot, he got an 8 on the attack roll.
Okay. I will again try to do a cathartic whirling dodge.
Okay.
I got an 8, so I succeed.
Yep.
and I
All right.
take
So
that
you
down.
so you whirling dodge it, and then Kenny, can you roll your speed?
Yep, I got a 9.
9. All right. So Elliot's gonna go first, and then Kenny, you can go.
Okay. I will try to do another Blade of a Dancing Fox cathartically. This will be my last allowed use of catharsis without going into excessive imbalance. I got 2 fails in a row, so that gave me 10 imbalance, like, straight away.
God.
Yeah. Because I just failed the Whirling Dodge and then I failed the Blade of a Dancing Fox. So if I fail this, then I will go into negative, into
That's
extra
bad.
imbalance as well.
That's very bad.
Oh boy. Blade of a Dancing Fox. Woo! I got a nat 10.
All right. That.
I got an
Nice.
8, 9, 10.
No extra imbalance.
Oh, you'd actually get imbalance for that. Yeah.
Oh, I don't get any imbalance. So,
You got
Yeah,
a total
that's
success.
correct.
Can
Yeah,
you roll
total
damage?
success.
Can you roll damage on him?
Okay, so I make a number of attacks against my target equal to your ranks in speed and Wager. Do I also get an extra D10 on that, or does that only go for damage?
You get the extra D10.
Is that on every single damage roll?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
so my
7d10?
ranks in speed and Wager are equal to 6, so I'll make 6 attacks at 3d10 damage each. Okay. Oh, and on a total success, you make 1 additional attack, so 7 attacks at 3d10. Cool. I got a 9 on the first one.
Uh-huh.
I got an 8 on the second.
Mhm.
I got a 10 on the third one.
Mhm.
I got a 9 on the fourth one. The 9 almost fell off the desk. Fifth attack. I got a 5 at the highest, so I don't think that succeeds. Sixth attack, I get a 5 again at the highest. Seventh attack, I get a 9 at the highest, and that's it. So, 9,
You did-
8,
You
10.
did 8 wounds to this guy.
Ooh.
All right, so you cut him badly, and his momentum is probably helping the process. You probably don't have to put all that much effort in, given all the spinning he's doing. And Kenny, it's your turn.
I'm just going to try and pull Boris Drunken Sword back.
Okay. Do you want to pull him out of? When you say pull him back, what do you mean? Because he's sort of do you want to use a technique to get him to safety so that he's not the guy isn't able to attack him, or do you want to just?
I
get
just
him-
want to break up the combat somehow.
Like, stand in the middle, push me away and stuff,
Okay.
and be like, hey, stop this.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. That would be the way to do it, probably.
Yeah, can I just get between them and try and
Yeah.
separate the fighting?
All right. So you step between him, and the guy just immediately tries to attack you. He's still in this reckless twirling thing. He doesn't even seem to recognize that a new person is in front of him. And he gets a 10 on his attack roll.
Ooh. Cheers, Kenny.
Yeah, I think our only option is whirling dodge cathartically. Oh, a 10 and a 2.
Oh, all right. So you whirling
Nice.
dodge. You dodge out of the way, and the guy collapses to the ground, exhausted, and he says, "You beast! You're not human." And he's talking to Elliot.
You're
He's
the one
not
who looks
talking
like
to
a
you, Kevin.
beast. You're naked, writhing around on the ground. You got
I
your
just
willy
thought-
on show for
I just
everybody to
wave
see. How
away
vulgar.
at Boris Drunken Sword and go, and I'll like, bow to the swordmaster and say, I apologize for my friend's behavior. He is drunk, and he
Always
tends to he tends to let his mouth go when he's had a bit too much to drink.
He grabs the other half of his robe that was cut away and wraps it around his waist, and he looks slightly embarrassed. And he says, "You shouldn't be in the company of this man. He's a bad person." And he says, "If I see him again, I'm gonna."
I'm not bad. I tell no lies. I was just saying, Ruan has a tiny penis. And I said you're reasonably
And
well endowed.
I
I
just
speak
sort
the
of,
truth.
The guy's already starting to get mad again as he's talking.
I just interject and say, and I apologize, Swordmaster. I will take care of him. Please return to your residence for now, and I will send my father over to tend to your wounds as a way of apology.
He says, "Give this man a good beating too," and he
Fuck you!
I just
I'll
hold.
legitimately spit on him when he says.
do you say
this
the
man-
equivalent of "fuck you" to this guy?
Say the equivalent of fuck you and spit on him.
All
as
right.
He, says,
He
this
charges
guy.
right at you. He is having none of it. Make a speed roll.
I'll do it again. I got an 8 at the highest, plus 3 from sword stance puts me to 11.
All right, you go first.
Okay. I'm going to try another Blade of the Dancing Fox. I'm not going to do it cathartically this time, though. So that's 3d10 against parry. I got an 8 at the highest. Does that succeed?
Against his parry? Yes, it does. Let me just see if he is able to dodge it. Nope, he does not.
Okay. So each attack deals 2d10 damage, and I do 1 for every rank I have in speed. So that's 3 attacks at 2d10 damage. Okay, I got a 5 at the highest on the first one. I got an 8 at the highest on the second one. Oh, dice dropped off the table. That's a 3 and a 5 for the third one. So I got 8 at the highest on the second one. Otherwise, the other 2 were 5s, which I don't think succeed.
No, those do. He's got a hardness of 5. So,
Oh, wow.
so that's 3 wounds.
3 wounds.
Which is exactly enough to drop him. So he just collapses to the ground from the attack. Pretty much naked in blood, I guess.
I'll spit
But
on him
Kenny,
some more.
this is definitely like there are villagers now, like kind of.
You want to give
observing.
me a beating?
And
I'll fucking
the lady from the
beat your
Rowfish
ass,
Inn is
stupid
like,
bitch.
is starting to walk over.
Hey, all I was saying was Yunwan's got a tiny penis. And this guy, defender of the small willies, came in to try and fight me.
There's a crowd of villagers around you, Elliot.
Well, this has started happening. I'm gonna turn to my father that is saying, like, Father, have you got anything that can induce unconsciousness?
He says, "I have some pills that can do that."
Anything that can be injected?
He says,
Steve, just out of character, you'd know how easy it is to poison me with wine by now.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of just like chucking a needle at you out the window.
he says, "Son, most of my remedies are meant to be taken orally."
Okay, then pass me some wine and the pills.
All right, he hands you a couple of pills. They're like like that.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'll like crush it into the wine.
Okay.
Boss, calm down. Drink this.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. You're a good subordinate and a good friend. He brings me wine! I'll just drink it down. Wait, this wasn't poison, was it?
What's your hardiness?
My hardiness is 9 at the moment because I'm drunk. Unless that brings me drunk enough to 2 stages of drunkenness, at which point it would be 10.
Well, you just as you pass out, you probably reach the 2nd stage of drunkenness. You can see Scholar Han is here. Like all the people of the village are sort of watching the scene, and Scholar Han sort of looks contemptuously at the two of you, and he says, "You're traveling with some really ugly company these days, aren't you?"
Can I look at his scars and just go?
I just want to say, by the way, I'd already been reduced 2 wounds from when we started this whole thing off, so I was on 1 wound from that 1 attack that he gave me.
Whose scars are you looking at?
Isn't Scholar Han disfigured as well?
Isn't he what?
Isn't Scholar Han disfigured? Wasn't I the one who disfigured him?
Did you?
That was my secret. That may have been my secret.
I don't remember you disfiguring Scholar.
No,
Han.
I remember he did, but
Yeah,
he
this
became
was,
friends with
before
Scholar
the
One.
campaign.
Scholar One didn't know that he had disfigured him.
Yeah, he's my best friend, and I disfigured him for some odd reason. I can't remember what it was.
I think it was
Scholar Han of Daoju. I just want to make sure we have the right guy.
My secret is that I disfigured my best friend, Scholar Han.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah. So
This was in the character creation.
Yeah, no, I just this hasn't come up.
It's been a while since
Okay.
this has come up.
All right. No, here's a question, but he doesn't know you disfigured him, right?
No, he
doesn't.
doesn't.
Okay, all right. So yeah, so you look at his scars in a knowing way when he says that.
No, it's just a private joke moment there. But I'm just shake my head and go. He is the grandson-in-law of Lady 87.
He says, "Well, you've certainly changed since you got caught up in that crowd." He says, "I remember when your name, meant something."
I'll just shrug and say, "It is what it is."
He just
Everything
shakes his
I
head.
do for my brother.
He just shakes his head and looks at his servant and says, "Chengzi, let's leave these people to their misery," and he walks away.
I mutter in my sleep, I feel happy.
As he walks off, I just yell, "Misery must be what you feel when you see your reflection."
He turns around and he starts walking towards you, and he says, "Are you saying that I'm ugly?"
Yes.
He says, "I feel sorry for you."
And I for you. Glad to see we've got each other's best intentions at heart. I'm not saying that, I'm unconscious.
And
And I for you is pretty much what I was going to say anyway.
I know you are, but what am I? Phase of the conversation. And he just shakes his head and he walks away. And by the way, Kenny, you would know that this is definitely a sore spot because Scholar Han used to be the most handsome guy in the village. So yeah. It's definitely.
What reason would I have?
It just so happened to be, but Wu Ji was the second handsome.
Okay, so that sort of blindsided me. So we probably need because we talked about that a long time ago and it hasn't come up.
Yeah.
I think the best explanation is that you were probably experimenting with some concoction that you were working on, and it. What's the nature of the scarring? That's pretty important here too.
We know for a fact that Scholar Han wasn't aware that it was the actions of Wu Ji that caused him to become disfigured. So I doubt that it would be. We were going on an adventure out in the mountains, and I accidentally shoved him down a cliff, and he got a scar. He got all the scars from branches as he passed through them. It probably wasn't. Oh yeah, I gave Scholar Han this wine which I'd laced with a drug which then caused his skin to like start molting and stuff. It probably would have been. I mean, how would it?
It was Skulahan's character. Like he's not very well liked by people, right? Despite the fact that he's handsome.
Arrogant. He was very arrogant, which was kind of an extension of both his handsomeness and his intelligence. So
Yeah.
he just was one of these people that was off-putting to most people.
I would just would he have like made snide comments about Dao Fang, for example?
He might have done that. I mean, he's not like a malicious person. He just you know, he might have done it and not realized it was mean. Do you know what I mean? He could have easily commented on something that he thought Dao Feng was doing that marked him as a little bit of a bumpkin or something. And
To be fair, though, Dao Feng is.
Well, let's just say then that he has like sort of pox scars from I don't know.
Some itching powder you put in his sheets that he reacted really, really badly to, and it's like disfigured his skin permanently.
It's probably better to say just like I forgot to wash my hands one day and I served him some some food, or we shared a bun together somewhere.
Why aren't you just like yourself?
what was that?
Then why would that be them? Wouldn't that make Kenny's character just would she disfigured as well if it was because you shared a bun and you had to wash your hands?
Well, I've got a mild immunity to poison. He is a weak scholar after all, and he's like dainty, and he stays indoors all the time. Or maybe
I honestly think if it was done when you were a kid, right?
Character.
Like he probably made fun of Dao Feng a bit. You know, Dao Feng had like chicken pox or something. You know, and so it looked bad. And so you read up about this itching powder. You're like, oh yeah, this would be a good little prank, but it'll kind of like show him a little bit what's for. So he snuck in and put the itching powder into his sheets. But like he didn't realize they were in his sheets, so he just kept on sleeping in them repeatedly over like the next week or whatever. And that like itching powder just permanently inflamed his skin, so now his skin's all like blotchy red and stuff.
all pox scarred, basically.
Yeah.
You can think out the details if you need. We don't have to get it.
We'll have a think about
Gave him
that
the
one.
plague. You gave him the plague.
But
He gave him crabs.
But
Or we can say that I was being malicious and
you pushed him down a cliff, and he his face like slid in the gravel, and then he got concussed, and he forgot all about who pushed him. So.
Why was
I think it was probably more likely if I'm being malicious about it, then it would have been like poisoning over multiple doses, like different types of harmless concoctions mixed together in the body that becomes a poison.
Okay.
Like things that by themselves wouldn't have any effect, but and I was just testing out the new method of poisoning people over a long period of time without them noticing.
Okay, could be that. You could have also deliberately made him ugly if you like were both interested in the same woman or something at some point. That might have.
Well, as I was saying beforehand, Wuji was the second handsomest man in the village.
So, but either way, we can deal with the specifics after the session. But the important thing is, we'll say he's pockmarked, and that's the nature of his.
I think the real important thing is that now a rumor should be starting that Yunwan has a tiny willy.
So,
And it's all been confirmed by Boris Drunken Sword.
so here is the thing, Kenny. You do know that the woman who runs the Rope Fish Inn is the local gossip, and she was watching the whole thing very closely as it happened. But you also suspect that's probably not enough to get, based on what your mom said, to get this Yunwan guy to come out of the ground.
Yeah, most definitely not.
That's only the first stage of the rumors. The second stage is accusing him of having hemorrhoids.
The third stage is saying that those hemorrhoids arose from sodomy.
So you're do you guys go back to your house, or what are you doing after?
Yeah.
So
Probably drag Boris Drunken Sword back inside.
drag Boris Drunken Sword, and I will ask my father to come with me to Master Chen's place.
Okay. All right. Your father agrees. He gets all of his supplies, and
And
Don't
Celestial
forget
Plume.
the special supply.
Yeah, the Celestial Plume.
and Boris Drunken Sword, are you kind of like out of it?
Yeah, I mean, I assume if these pills are effective, I'm totally out of it.
All right. So the mother is gonna sit there and like read the sayings of Kong Ji to you while you're hoping that some of it will take hold.
I'm
And,
gonna stay there as well, just in case my mother's still angry at him.
Oh, she's mad. She's mad. She's very mad.
Well, just outright throwing a rock at him last session did 4 wounds, so I'm worried she might kill him.
I'm still keeping that thing as well.
So you guys reach well, I guess Master Chen is still passed out on the ground, right? Like you guys have to.
Yeah,
actually...
that's how we're gonna carry him, or I'll
Okay.
try to carry him.
All right, so you guys take him to the let me find the school first. Master Chen's Spinning Dragon School, and and you're greeted
So
by
I just beat the master of the school as well.
and you're
I
greeted
should go
by
up there and take their sign.
you're greeted by Left-Handed Dragon, his top student, and he sees his master's wounded, and he looks concerned, and he says, "What happened?"
Your master got into a fight with my companion who was spouting off vulgarities in a drunken stupor. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to prevent the injuries, but my father and I will tend to his wounds as a way of apologizing for this.
He nods, and he has the some servants come, and they bring him into the courtyard, and you can see that there's a woman there, and Left-Handed Dragon takes a seat and watches you guys perform your medical miracle on this guy. Can you make a medicine roll?
Well, it would be my father doing it, right? And that's, at some point,
Well,
I'll just say we'll need to. Can we take him into his room so that we need to remove his clothes because one of his wounds is in a embarrassing location.
So all right, so you guys take him to the to his room, and Left-Handed Dragon goes with you, and your father starts administering some balms and things like that, and checking his pulse, and writes down like a list of ingredients for them to procure and at the apothecary shop, and he says he'll send them.
At what point would it be okay to try and administer some celestial plume to Master Chen?
Well, the problem is Left-Handed Dragon is still there.
Yeah. I guess while my dad's...
This is a very powerful pain reliever that will be useful for your master in recovering from the injuries of his wounds. Light this incense and allow him to breathe of it.
I'll just say to Left-Handed Dragon, oh, by the way, I was very impressed by your master's spinning sword technique, and I didn't get I didn't get a chance to talk to him about it. But would you mind sparring with me, a friendly competition outside in the courtyard while my dad is treating?
He nods.
Sword Master Chen,
and he walks outside with you.
As you leave, you look at your dad.
Does your dad know what to do?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We talked to him in the past about potentially drugging some people.
Yeah, because his friend is the patrolling officer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which we want to get.
All right.
It just so happened.
It's a very convoluted plan we have going on here, which I don't even think will work out, but let's see where it goes.
All
We
right,
get him addicted to Celestial Plume, and then hopefully he gets the patrolling guy addicted to Celestial Plume, and then we can shift Celestial Plume through the area.
Ideally. So I'll pull out a rope dart, I guess.
Okay. He starts circling around you, and he says, "So what was your friend doing that got this, that caused this problem?"
I'll just shake my head and say he was drunk and he was talking about small penises.
Why was he doing that?
he is incomprehensible sometimes. He doesn't handle being drunk very well, but he likes to drink a lot.
He just shakes his head and he starts spinning at you, but he doesn't fly into that rage that that the master had flown into. I'm assuming
Maybe
this is like
if
a
he
light
yelled at him
competition.
about
Do you
small
want
penises, he would.
do you want to actually do some sparring, or do you want to just kind of like lightly engage each other?
Just lightly engage each other. I don't actually have any techniques with a rope dart, so maybe I'll just do like a few regular attacks with a rope dart and just like praise him for his skill.
Okay, all right. So as long as you guys aren't trying to hurt each other or anything, it's
Oh, no.
but yeah. So
No.
he seems to like when you praise his skill, and he says you should fight with a sword. Why fight with a dart?
I'll just have a smile on my face. I am a hunter. I sort of like pat my bow, and I don't like getting into conflict with people. I can't say that
He
straight
says-
face.
He says, "Well, our school is the best, as you know. So if you ever want to learn some real kung fu, feel free to."
Your skills master just got trashed by a random drunk guy.
do you want to point that out to him?
No,
I'm
I wouldn't
conscious
say. I
of
wouldn't say. You're not even there. I'll just smile and say, the fame of Master Ken's swordplay is known widely in this region.
And it's not an exaggeration. It is well known. But the fact that Boris Drunken Sword, man, was he the one who dropped him, or did you drop him?
I didn't. I had no part in the combat.
Okay.
I dropped him.
You
All by
dropped him.
myself.
It definitely says
I did all the damage.
you might be having second thoughts about how his how good their swordplay is.
You basically chopped Boris Johnson's sword to within an inch of his life again.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Like if he had a second turn where I didn't.
I just want to say, he
That's
did
true.
6 wounds in one attack. I did 8.
Yeah, that is true.
So your father comes out and he nods to you, and he gives Left-Handed Dragon a small bag, and he says administer this to him daily, and I will be back in the morning to check on him. And he looks at you and nods.
And then I'll nod as well and bow to Left-Handed Dragon, and we'll make our way out.
All right, so you guys leave, and Boris
I
Drunken
guess
Sword.
way.
What was that?
Yeah. So I'll ask Harver and say, did you manage to apply some Celestial Plume?
He says yes. I think that and I'll apply some more tomorrow when I go visit. But don't tell your mother.
I'll nod and say, perhaps we don't actually need to do this Celestial Plume business if, or given the situation with Ruan and the Demon Emperor, or not the Demon Emperor, is it the Glorious Emperor?
The Glorious Emperor.
Given that the Glorious Emperor is going to be sending out people looking for Mother, I wasn't aware of this previously, so we're looking to set long-term goals and establish our roots here. And if it comes to pursuit from the Emperor, then maybe we should consider leaving this area.
Won't you run a lot foul of Lady 87 if you do that?
Just FYI, you could always employ somebody else for the 87 killers to distribute Celestial Plume in the area. It doesn't have to be your parents.
Yeah. Well, this is like a chance for us to make a mint out of it. Well, I'll just say, it's just worth thinking about. Like, if we're comfortable with staying in the region, then we should expand our influence, and maybe we can assemble enough people to defend ourselves from the Glorious Emperor.
He says, wherever your mother goes, I will go.
I'll nod and say, as long as the family is safe, that's all that matters to me.
He says, we should speak with Dao Feng about this. And, you guys continue to the house. Boris Drunken Sword awakens. And you've definitely, you're probably kind of remembering verses from the sayings of Kong Ji just because she was repeating them over and over again while you were sleeping. But you probably
I'll
don't
just
remember.
yawn and wake up and go, yeah, I already know I'm a good person. You don't have to tell me twice.
And, Steven, are you doing anything while they're out?
Suppose I'll just listen. Nothing really other than just kind of listening again on mother reading a manual to Drunken Sword, try and glean some wisdom from it.
All right. So in that case, you and your father return to the house, and your mother approaches you, and she says, "Your friend is recovering. We still need to come up with a plan for Yun Wan."
I'll nod and say, it is probably maybe I can find someone who can help spread the rumor that I have obtained the manual of what's it called?
Let me see here.
Or something.
One second, I lost the page. Master Gu Ruan.
Manual of Master. And try and get rumors spread that I've obtained this manual.
She says, "What if we make an announcement that you're going to be somewhere specifically with it?"
Does the Lucky Mountain host auctions and stuff like that? Darfang mentioned this previously, so
I mean, you could host anything there if you wanted to. You could probably host if you wanted to say that you were going to sell the manual at the Lucky Mountain on such and such a date, you probably could.
yeah, this is very traditional wuxia, isn't it?
The only problem is if somebody else turns up who's outbids Yun Wan. I paid 10,000 silver taels. Where's my manual?
And we don't want to ruin Nine Godman's.
Well, give them the fake manual. They're not going to know.
Well, it depends on how accurately they can copy it.
Boris Drunken Sword will pipe up and just go, don't worry about it. You see, I've already started a master plan. Today, Yun Wan hears that somebody's saying that he's got a small penis. And then a few days later, he hears that some guy, Boris Drunken Sword, has been following him unbeknownst to his knowledge, and saw him screaming in the woods one day, wiping his asses with dock leaves because he had horrible hemorrhoids, Embarrassment will draw this tiger out of its lair, or whatever he is.
I'll just shake my head and go, I don't think that'll work, boss. Yun Wan is in cahoots with the Demon Emperor, and I don't think they physically have any sense of shame. I'm making this up, by the way, so I know it's not true, but I'm just saying. I don't think he is capable of feeling embarrassment because he is not as.
Is he a Yao?
I'll just shake my head and go, I cannot say. Those Yao that we ran into didn't really have any emotions either, so it's entirely possible.
If he's a Yao, then I'd believe it. But otherwise, anybody would feel ashamed from having a sword pricked up their ass.
So,
I'll just say it's probably better that we go with luring him to a specific place with the manual. It's the less shouting from your end, and you can just keep drinking regardless.
Okay, I like that idea.
Your mother looks at you and she says, "Son, do you know pressure point techniques?"
Sure, no. I'm Qinggong and Waija.
That's all you got? Okay, all right.
Yeah. Unless she can realign me, I'm happy to
No. She looks at her other son, Dao Feng and asks the same question.
Danju, did you say?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have some. I've got some experience in it.
She says, "Please come with me to the courtyard."
I go with her to the courtyard.
Is there more wine out there?
Do you say
No.
that?
Yeah.
She says to Wuji, "Bring him some more wine. He does not need to get up." And
I'll go find more wine.
and how have we been handling learning techniques? Has it been XP purchase, or have we been doing it the freeform method?
Yeah, but it's only XP at the moment.
It's XP?
Yeah,
We've been
I've
using
actually
XP.
spent
Okay.
some XP to buy myself another technique, but I haven't used it yet.
All right, so she's gonna start showing you a technique, and you will, if you want to, need to spend the XP on it in order to master the technique. But she's at least showing you the basics of it. So here's what she shows you. I'll just send you a message. And it should be obvious why she's teaching you this technique. But if it isn't, you can send me a question.
It's the perfect solution to our problems.
What are you laughing at, Steve?
I like it because I know why she's teaching me this technique.
I'm guessing it's to handle me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after she teaches you the basic steps of the technique and the appropriate movements, she returns to where everybody else is, and she says, "So we need to make a decision then. What is our course of action on this manual and Yunwan?"
Sorry, I was distracted there. Are we trying to finalize the plan then?
Yes, she's saying we have to come to a final conclusion.
I'll read through the manual tonight, and then we'll see if we can find a counterfeiter to make a copy of it, because I don't think we'd be able to make a believable copy by ourselves. I mean, I'm looking. It's a scroll like old looking and stuff.
She says, "Well, how long do you think that's going to take?"
I think there was an antique shop person in what do you call it? In my tune, but there may be someone who can counterfeit for us in Tongan as well. So we'll probably have to go to Tongan to find someone.
We need to return to my tune anyways to find out what's been happening with Iron.
Well, to be fair, we could just it doesn't necessarily have to be the original. We can say we have a copy of the script, so maybe we can just copy it on bamboo scroll. I mean, as long as the advertising, as advertising doesn't say that we have the original copy of Master Guru Ruan's text, we can just say we have a copy of Master Guru Ruan's text.
Do we even need to copy it? You know.
To be fair, I guess if we just kill.
I mean, what if it got stolen from us? You know, if it's an accurate copy, then the guy Yun Wan gets it anyways. Why not just get a scroll that looks like it, and I can draw like some obscene images in it, and even if it does get stolen from us, the guy gets pissed off.
No, I'm just. I'll just say. I'll get a copy of this. I'll make a copy of this, and we will proceed to try and auction it off in. Maybe we can arrange it in Tongan or something, and ask Iron God Mong for help, since he is. What is your relationship with Iron God Mong, by the way?
What was that?
What is your relationship with Iron God Mong?
Do you ask her?
Wait, Iron God Mong?
She says, he was my he was like a younger sibling almost to me.
I'm not gonna say maybe we can use Iron God Mung to help us auction this and set a trap for Yuan when he approaches.
He will do anything that I request.
Wait, so Iron God Mung knows that you're our mother.
Yes.
No, that would explain why he was so insistent on visiting when we passed through a few weeks ago.
I'm not gonna say. In that case, let that be the plan. I'll read for it tonight and start making a copy. Well, don't actually need to copy the whole thing. I just need to copy like the first couple of lines perfectly, and then the rest of it can just be left blank or with random words. So when I show it to people, I can show them like, here is the first, here is the manual, and just roll it up again. Just be like, if you want it, come get it.
All right. So you're gonna try to copy it though that night.
Yeah.
All right. So, what's your detect?
2d10.
And what skill? Do you have calligraphy or something like that?
No, I have read script.
All right. Okay. So. All right. Well, so looking at this thing, number one, you're not sure that unless there's a skill that you have that I don't know about. You're not sure how great of a copy you're going to be able to make, but you certainly can record. It's not going to look exactly like
it.
But...
how about instead of like I'll copy out the first couple of lines and maybe I'll ask Scholar Han to write it for me because he would have calligraphy, right?
Oh yeah, he definitely would.
So can I like write the first like passage or something and onto paper and I'll go visit Scholar Han?
Yeah. And hold on, I'm just going to send you something.
All right. Gosh, bump detect up to the expertise in sight and hearing again. Just because
it's very useful.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's clear.
So before I do anything about that, can I make a note of the actual text anyway, just for my own?
Mm-hmm.
Like, doesn't have to be a copy. Just like copy down the body of the text and then investigate that thing.
Okay. How do you want to investigate it?
Should I type it or say it? Does it really matter?
You can say it. That's fine.
Okay. Can I scrape it?
Okay. All right. So underneath you see more text.
I told you should burn it.
Okay.
Actually, burning would have been a really bad idea.
What does this layer of text say? Like,
the first line you see is "Cloud of the Fly Whisk."
oh, that's the actual manual.
Yeah, of course it fucking was. Why would the guy want it if it's just good for fucking good people? He's not good people. It would be utterly useless in his hands unless it had a secret technique.
Yeah. Can I often make a copy of the actual technique stuff as well?
Yeah, you can do
You're
that.
going to tell your mother about it?
Hmm?
I mean, you're doing this in front of all of us, like...
I'm doing it in my room.
Okay, so you're not going to tell them.
It's going to be a long time activity. I'm not going to sit there and copy out like a 10,000 word essay or whatever in front of everyone. The pressure that would be.
Okay. So you want to copy? So you want to completely scrape off all of it and copy all of the technique?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you can begin doing that.
I'll sleep through the night to try and regain some wounds.
I
will also meditate the next
be able-
morning to try and remove
Would I be
them.
able to finish doing it in one night, or?
Yeah, you can do it in one night. 1 second.
Don't we also have like a manual on us at the moment?
Yeah, that one we got from.
We have the. I don't have the
Arms.
manual. Yeah.
Or
So-
did we give that? Or did we
We
give
gave
that
that-
to Lady 87?
Mm,
Because we were sent to retrieve that by her, weren't we? With her
Yeah.
wooden sword.
We then delivered Hellbending Sword to Iron God Mung. Then we went back to Maichin, and I believe handed him the manual
5
because I don't have the manual either.
Yeah.
I've got a giant sword. I've got a vessel of the dutiful empress, which I think might be something that we got from there as well. And I've got a gourd of white jade wine, which I've labelled as primo shit.
That vessel thing, didn't Iron God Mung give you that to drink
Oh,
wine
yeah.
out of?
Yeah, Iron God Mung gave that to me to drink wine out of. Which I would like to point out, I have been using to drink wine out of, like, every time I've drunk wine, unless it's been specifically out of the gourd.
So, all right, but you can copy it by the end of the evening. You probably won't get a whole lot of sleep.
What else is on there?
So there's also one called the 10,000 Finger Strike, and the 5 Poison Lash of One May.
Maybe I should use a fly whisk. It sounds kind of bad.
And they look very, like these look like exceptional techniques. These look like these were concealed for a reason.
Can I call my mother?
Yeah, she comes to your room.
And I'll show her the scroll and say I found this underneath underneath the original text.
She looks at it and she says, "This must be why my master didn't want me to let him get it." I think I should begin trying to master these techniques.
I'll nod and say I've made a copy of both the original text and the techniques. Is that okay?
She says, "No, destroy the copy of the techniques."
All right. But for the process of copying it, like would I have memorized any of it?
What's your reasoning skill?
I have no reasoning actually, so that's
You can make a reasoning.
There's no reasoning with you.
I've got 0d10. You roll it for me.
Oh, all right. Yeah, you're gonna need a copy. Now, she didn't ask you to burn it in front of her or anything. So if you want to be sneaky, you probably can. But she definitely said she wanted you to get rid of it. And she, of course, takes the original scroll once she realizes that those techniques are there.
Well, that's fine. I'll destroy the copy and just say, well, maybe I should start learning how to use a fly whisk since there's a set of kung fu here. That would be good to know.
She says, "You will begin learning with me tomorrow." Then
is it all Neigong stuff?
a lot of it is, yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to fly either. So
I mean, but like one of the like the top medicine guy in Tungan, who could most certainly, recalibrate your meridians.
Who? Who's the top medical guy in Tongan?
Sima Hao.
Oh.
Who we've been told not to interact with.
Do not let him put yeah. No. Alright.
Lady 87 might be able to find you somebody. Although you'd have to give her a reason as to why you need to get yourself recalibrated.
I feel like Neigong is my true core. Alright, so yeah, I have a sleepless night of copying the thing. I mean, yeah, I guess the next. It's all kind of moot now, isn't it? I'll go find Scholar Han and in the morning and talk with him.
Okay, you know where his house is. His house is. You have the map of Daoju, right?
Yeah.
He's got that big ass house across the street from you,
Han
basically.
residence.
You have like a little tiny apothecary shop. He's got this really giant courtyard house. So yeah, he's got a stone table in his courtyard, and he motions for you to come eat with him.
Yeah, I'll join him for a meal and talk with him about old times or whatever, and I said to him, like, I've been thinking about what you said yesterday, and it is perhaps true that I fall in bad company, but I only do it to keep my family safe.
He says, I heard a troubling rumor the other day. Is there any
Is it
truth?
that Yuan has a tiny penis?
Rumor?
Yes, a rumor.
About what?
I heard you killed a woman named Silver Chrysanthemum.
Not me personally, no.
What do you mean, not you personally?
Well, I think the young master was the one who killed her.
Your
It
brother?
wasn't me. It was your brother. I'm not there though. So.
No, you say the young
I-
master. Is that how you're referring
Yeah,
to Boris Drunken
yeah.
Sword?
Yeah.
He says that slob that was in the ground the other day.
His kung fu is fueled by alcohol. Don't let his appearance fool you.
He says the rumor I heard said that you and your brother were involved in her death.
I was nowhere near. And
He looks at you very serious and he says, "This is very important." He says, "Was your brother involved in her death?"
he was present. Well, I don't know the details. Because I actually don't know the details.
Well, actually, it would have been explained to you when Dalton.
Yeah, you would know
we found
Dalfung was pretty much the one that killed her, and Boris Drunken Sword was the one who was trying to not kill her in the situation.
Well, that's what I say. I think he was involved. He may have wounded her, or I'm not sure exactly what happened, but he was definitely involved in her death.
He says, he said, "What did you come here to talk with me about today?" He says through his pockmarked face.
I've got to say, he doesn't like the fact that Silver Chrysanthemum was killed. Silver Chrysanthemum working for Yuan.
Yep. Yep. I'll just say it was just to catch up because I feel like we had a bad moment yesterday. It was on my mind. 'Tis all.
He says, "No, we are old friends. We're not. There is no gulf."
Did we
between us."
grow up together or?
Yeah, that's what you said in your thing, right? That you were like best friends with them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you lived right across the street. I have to imagine
Yeah.
that you guys were,
Yeah.
probably the only guy to play with, and he probably had the best toys in the neighborhood.
That's why Dalfung got jealous of you and was like, "I'll just join a criminal organization then." You're favored by the rich boys. I'll be favored by all the bad boys.
He says it just seems that you and your brother have changed a lot since joining up with that 87 Killers group.
Well, you don't say. I'll just say, Dalfung, he's always been interested in that kind of thing.
He says, I understand. He says,
Can you tell me more about why Silver Chrysanthemum will be an issue? Because I would do anything to keep my family safe.
He says, I just heard the rumor and I was troubled that you were involved in the death of a young woman. They say that she had done nothing wrong.
I'll just shake my head and say she poisoned some wine that the young master was drinking, and I'll mention what poison it was.
What's your empathy, Kenny?
Poisoned him twice.
0d10.
0d10. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, oddly enough, his eyes look like you. I'm gonna send you a message. This is
Okay.
So I'm sorry. What was it you had asked him?
I was just saying. She used whatever poison it was. The silk venom thread poison to try and blackmail Boris Drunken Sword.
He says, well, can a man like that even be trusted to be telling the truth about such a thing?
No, but I trust my brother. And we have the poison and the antidote to prove it, so I have no reason to doubt the course of events there.
Between the things he was saying and the terrible, terrible way he treated Master Chen, he says, I'm skeptical.
Do you know that Yunwan's penis isn't tiny? How can you accuse me of deceit?
To be fair, you weren't horrible to Master Chen. He attacked you.
Yeah. I did tell him to go fuck himself.
He
spat on him as well.
After he attacked you.
He did expose Master Chen's private parts to the village.
But I spoke with
After
truth.
he attacked him.
I spoke with truth and didn't say that he had a tiny penis or anything. You know.
I don't think dishonesty was what was at issue when.
I mean, it was all part of Boris Drunken Sword's plan, though, to get people saying, "Oh, he didn't lie about that person's penis size. Maybe he's saying the truth about Yunwan's."
I'll just ask him, is everything okay? You seem a bit upset this morning.
He says, oh no, I just didn't sleep much last night. It was a long evening.
I'll nod and say, so was Silver Chrysanthemum one of your acquaintances?
He says, I'd never heard of her before.
I'll nod and say, perhaps it was good that you did not join the martial world. As a scholar, you can be worry-free.
He says,
and you don't.
Yes, now that I've seen what has become of you and your brother, I am quite glad that I'll be taking the exams and finding a respectable position.
Fighting remark.
I'll just nod and say each has their use. You know, scholars must be protected from people who would do them harm, and unruly people in the martial world need guidance from the educated sometimes.
He says, my skills may not be as good as yours, brother, but I know Kung Fu. I know a thing or two about using a sword.
I just nod and say, Jack of all trades, you should focus on your studies or your swordsmanship.
He leans forward and he says, they are one and the same.
I was just thinking of the guy from Condor Hero, Return of Condor Heroes, with the pen and the script.
He whips out a calligraphy brush.
And he starts writing an ancient cursive script. Just eat my cursive technique.
Hence a barbarian.
Yeah, I'll just nod and say, well, I won't disturb you any longer. I will drop by to visit if I have time in the future, and let me know if you need help with anything.
He gets up and he begins walking into the gate, and he says, I will do so. And he says, and I shall pay you and your family a visit when I have time away from my studies.
I'll nod and go.
All right. And you get back to this.
There goes my plan to make a copy of the fucking thing.
I'm sure we could find someone that can forge stuff in the 87 colors.
Yeah, probably.
You don't need somebody to forge stuff, man. just let me draw, a tiny willy on the scroll, and the words next to it, Yuan Wan has a tiny penis. And then we can go around brandishing that scroll as if it's, the all-important scroll. And then if it's stolen from us or anything, he'll open it up and read it, and you'll see that it says, Yuan Wan has a tiny willy with an invitation, and signed by Boris Drunken Sword, and he'll be so pissed off that he could only come to try and deal with me himself personally.
Or a shrunken sword has self-confidence issues. Yeah, it's very low self-esteem.
What did you use as reference to draw this? Nothing.
All right, so
There's a reason his wife is so unsatisfied with him.
Is there, I was just going to ask, is there a die roll to check for marital happiness?
So I think that the state of his marriage is attributable to other shortcomings.
Other factors.
Yeah. All right. So when you get back, what do you want to do? Oh,
Well,
your mother's supposed to train you, right?
Yeah, it was only like a brief hop over the street and have some breakfast before training type thing anyway. So.
All right.
Can I just say out of character, I had a long sleepless night last night. The fucker was spying on you, mate.
No, I think he was just crying at something or other.
You think?
I don't trust him.
I
I reckon he was spying on you because you had a long sleepless night as well, copying out that thing.
So your mother is already in the courtyard, waiting for you to begin your training.
Yeah.
And she has a fly whisk for you.
Is that like melee?
Yep, it's a light melee weapon. Do you have dots in that?
I have 2 dots in it.
Oh, okay.
No.
So you.
I can at least start practicing.
Yeah,
I just don't have the name wrong for the techniques.
All right, and the fly whisk she gives you is quite old, and it's got yellow tassels. And she just begins showing you some moves. She doesn't teach you any techniques yet.
Yeah, just the foundations.
Yeah.
Enough for me to justify putting an expertise into fly whisk at some point before sending it to people.
And then she says, "So you were going to Mai Chun or Tunglong? What is?
So it's the 7th of the Elephant Moon, 2 days after the banquet. Iron God Mong has probably left Mai Chun at this point, right?
Probably.
We have no news. Maybe but he hasn't passed through here. He would pass through Dao Shu if he were.
I'd recommend going to Mai Chun first.
Yeah, we'll go to Mai Chun and see if we can find Iron God Mong and ask him for help.
All right. So in that case, and so you're gonna. So your mom says, we will. I will protect the manual, but return once we have once you've settled what you need to settle.
Oh no, then I actually warn her about Scholar Han as well. I'm not sure he might have relationships. He might have some sort of relationship with Silver Chrysanthemum, because he was quite insistent on talking about her earlier when I went over.
I will keep an eye on him, and we will be cautious.
How much imbalance would I have recovered from yesterday? I know that I would have gotten 3 wounds over the course of the night, I think it is. Or is it? No, sorry, 4 wounds because it's 1 per achievement.
Did you do any meditation?
In the morning, I would have been doing meditation after getting, 6 hours sleep or whatever.
How many hours meditation would you have been spending?
I'd say probably at most 2 in the amount of time that it would take Wuji to go and do his old chat and all that kind of stuff. If not 1 hour, if you think that's a bit too much.
All right, let me just look at the actual rate. I want to be. All right, there we go. So, what's your chi rank?
Chi rank 4.
And you said 2 hours?
Yeah.
So you would have recovered 8.
8. Okay. That's cool. That puts me on 5 in balance. So that's not too bad.
Cool. Thank you.
5 as in like you've spent 5, or 5 as in you're down to.
5 as in I've spent 5.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
your mother says, we need to deal with Yunwan fast. So speed.
Yep. We'll make it a priority, and also has my father gone to administer the second dose of Celestial Plume?
Yeah, he's already returned from that. Your father is the kind of person who he does what he says he's going to do, and he does it quietly.
That's why I married him, she says.
And yeah, he's in fact, before you go, he says, I'm gonna administer several doses this week, just to be sure.
I'll nod and say you have the supplies in the cubby hole, so I'll let you handle that. And if the opportunity arises, you can also try administering it to what's the General One? No.
I think it was 1, but it wasn't general.
Inspector.
Was it Inspector One? If the opportunity arises, you can also try administering it to Inspector One, but I don't think without our intervention.
Iron Juan is what they call him. Iron Juan is the guy's nickname. All right, so can I get a survival roll for the journey to Maichun?
I'll do it. If that's cool with everybody else.
Yep.
I got a 10.
All right, so you make it to Maichun without an issue. Where are you going to go when you get there?
Report into. Do we want to report into Lady 87? Did she have a task for us, other than?
Our last task was to get Iron God 1 to Iron God Meng to go to the banquet. So I suppose once the banquet's over, we can report in to check if we need to change our relationship with Iron God 1 Meng at all.
And during the last session, you
it wasn't for Lady 87.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what your letter said.
Did it?
Yeah, your letter said that you were doing a mission for Lady 87.
I think if I stated that was it. It should have just said he was on a mission. If
Okay.
I was attending to my own business.
So basically, you went out for a shit in the woods.
Basically. And speaking of, I actually mentioned that I might need your help with something in a couple of weeks' time.
What, Boris Drunken Sword?
Or to both of you, I guess. I'll just say...
actually, and that time frame is...
It's the 8th of the 11th moon now, so...
So I'm just going to send you a message, Kenny.
Okay.
I think we'll get even more weapons when we get back to Maichun. I've got a lot of different types at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, I might need your help with stealing a bundle from a group that's going to be traveling through the area in the next 2 weeks.
What was that for?
I don't know. I owe someone a favour, and I'm repaying it.
Oh. Is that Seema Howe person?
Yeah.
Alright. Your dad and stuff, and everybody keeps saying we shouldn't deal with him.
My dad?
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, you shouldn't talk with Seema Howe, he's a bad person.
I'll nod and say this is why I don't want to owe him a favour. I want to clean the slate as soon as possible and cut ties if as appropriate.
This is probably not a bad idea. Shit! As we're walking on the way back home, Boris Drunken Sword exclaims out loud, shit.
Did you forget to buy the J combs?
Well, I wasn't told to, but if I don't come back with one, then she'll probably be pissed off.
We also haven't made much money.
No, we
Speak
haven't
for
done
yourself.
any.
I met your tails last week.
I mean, we need to get money off of Lady 87 to get more Celestial Plume anyways, don't we?
Yes.
Who's been holding on to the money for the Plume? Because I certainly haven't.
I think it was Kenny.
I think it's probably me. Actually, no, it's not me because I only have 2 tails, and
I've only got one tail, 250 silver. 250 spades, I mean.
I've got 4 tails and 4,710 spades, but that's definitely not enough.
None of us have
for
logged down
me.
money for the Celestial Plume.
so this would have been from because Iron God Monk was going to hand over the deposit this time round to
The advance.
the advance. He was going to carry it with him to Maishun for the banquet, and we never got around to sorting that out
Okay.
because it was a lot of money.
Like 150 silver tails, wasn't it?
Something like that.
How much do we purchase the Celestial Plume for again?
What, 1,400 a pound?
If we're buying 200 pounds of it.
Yeah.
And we sell to Iron God Mung at 1,600?
2,500.
2,500.
Yeah, and he buys 120 pounds worth at a time, which is equivalent to 300,000 spades. We get half of it in advance.
I'm going to make a note of this. So we buy from the Celestial Plume Masters at 1,400.
I believe it's 1,400.
Are you sure? I thought it was a bit lower than that because I think we tried to push down to 1,300, and they were like, "Well, if you want our
Sure,
help."
they wanted it to be 2,000 at first, and then we got it down to 1,600. And then they're like, if you buy 200 pounds at once, we can reduce it to 1,400.
Because they're also offering to be our ally if we buy their plume at a higher price.
Yeah, and we were like, we don't need you. We don't need your assistance.
So 1,400 is our buy price.
For a pound, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need 280 silver tails, and we'll have 150. So we'll be 130 silver tails short.
And Iron God 1 buys at 2,500?
He buys it at £2,500, but he only buys 120 pounds of it at a time.
2,500 per pound.
Yeah. So we end up with £80 spare, which we've currently got stashed with you there.
Okay, gotcha. So we need to have what?
Ideally, we want to liquidate.
280 taels.
Yeah. Ideally, we want to liquidate, which is funny because it's already liquid. The other Celestial Plume we've got to make money back so that we can buy more Celestial Plume. Because otherwise, we're just going to end up with a large surplus of Celestial Plume.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're trying to do with via the Sword Master guy. Maybe we should tell my dad to start administering it to his students as well. Turning our father into a criminal.
Maybe we should ask Lady 87 if she can afford to set up some fences in Daoja and stuff.
I think that's our job, isn't it?
Possibly.
But there's no one in that shoe is pretty small. There's not really many people there.
Yeah, it's a tiny village.
And I think Dagwan is technically not part of Tungwan. We had the option of setting up stuff there as well.
You'd have to go through some people, but yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, and there's Bochuan and Shueyeshi. I don't know what that is. Oh, but we wanted to try and rope in the 7 demons, didn't we? Transport the Celestial Plume to them and start to them in bulk.
I can't remember that, but that could be a good idea. Who are they?
Yeah, but that involves going through Longmar territory.
Right.
Yeah, or trying to cut through the wilderness, which doesn't seem like a great idea.
I mean, I've got survival wilderness too, so you know.
I mean, yeah, but so do I. But we only have like 2 pips in it each, so that's a very large margin of error there for things to go wrong.
Well, I do have some spare experience, so I could possibly get an expertise. Yeah.
Well, for now, yeah, let's go report into Lady 87 and see if we can. So we should have check with her if Iron God Mom paid the deposit.
All right, so you're gonna go. You're gonna go to Lady 87.
Yeah.
Do you guys have all? You guys all have black uniforms now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you go into Lady 87's halls, and again, she's up on that platform. She's got some maidservants near her, and the court is flanked with the guys in black. And
They just stand around there all day.
No. This is when she receives people.
Yeah.
And so when you get, she's definitely not in this room all day. So do you guys kneel in front of her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One knee, I think it's just rather than kowtow.
Like a Vader kneel.
Yeah.
She says, "You have been absent."
Yeah, well, I got poisoned.
How did this happen?
Well, a guy came and delivered some wine, and it was really, really good, expensive, good quality wine. So I thought, hey, this might be poisoned because Iron God Mung got poisoned. And so I gave some of it to a messenger at first to see if it was bad. But he seemed fine.
She puts her hand up for you to stop talking.
I stopped talking.
She says, "If you were not married to my granddaughter, I would take your eye out right now."
Oh, please don't. I mean, either way, we killed her, we got the antidote, and I'm alright.
She says, "Please report to me, then I will give you news."
Right, so we went out and we found this person, Silver Chrysanthemum, who poisoned me, and we killed her. She was asking all sorts of weird information about some person who we didn't know. Obviously had her wires crossed or something. What's a wire? And so then we came back here afterwards because we wanted to find out what happened with Iron God Mung. And he should have left behind a deposit for some celestial plume.
She says, "He did leave me a deposit, yes."
That's very good. If we want to get more celestial plume, we need a deposit. And a bit more.
How much do you need?
We've organised it so we buy £200 of celestial plume for 280,000 silver taels. We sell £120 to Iron God Mung for 300,000 spades. I mean,
She looks at Kenny. How many spades do you need?
We need 280 taels.
280 silver taels?
yes,
Yep.
we have £80 left over from the last one, which we are looking to sell. At the moment, that is surplus stock.
All right. She has a bunch of men. They do the thing where they bring in the wagon with like the one wheel and the silver tails all inside of it.
Stacked up.
And while they're doing that, I'll ask Lady 87. Lady 87, would you have any objections to selling the celestial plume to the 7 demons?
She says no, but I've received news that the Seven Demons have run into some setbacks with the Empire. The Empire has been arresting their men. Last I heard, a quarter of their organization was possibly going to be executed.
Wow.
Wow, that must depress them a lot. Maybe they'll need Celestial Plume to get over the grievance.
Well, she just says, she looks at you and says, I'm just trying to emphasize that it may not be the best time to sell them Celestial Plume.
Right.
In that case, we'll look into setting up local distribution first. There will be a small scale for now, and profits will be limited until we can hook on, and until we can get the people addicted to it.
And she says, also, I spoke with Iron God Mung. We have made an agreement, but one of his terms was difficult, and I need you to resolve it for me. He needs us to smooth over our conflict with Long Mahal.
What? I rubbed my head.
This was a term that he said he could not budge on.
Well, surely they must make some concessions for offending the 87 killers so badly.
She says, we've already gathered many of their scalps. I think that they've suffered plenty.
Even if we have the intention to make amends, I do not believe Long Mahal will rest easily on this and stay quiet for long.
What if we made a patchwork kilt out of the scalps and sent it to them by way of apology?
She says this would not do. We need Long Mahal to be friendly now, or dealing with Iron God Mung is going to be difficult. He made this quite clear to me.
What if we give him some Celestial Plume for free? And then possibly get a customer?
I suspect he has business dealings that require smooth relations with Long Mahal.
I'll just say, I'll just nod and say Long Mahal is a rather large escort company after all. It's understandable. Well, perhaps we can speak with Long Mahal, act as your delegate, to see if they'd be willing to come to the table for discussion at least.
Yes, this is smooth it out however you think you can. I give you authority to have dealings with them, and
I look quite visibly perturbed at this. Right, so you're sending me to Long Mahal to try and make sure they don't get more pissed off with us?
I'll just say,
perhaps you should not go.
That may be for the best.
She says, I was hoping to see you rise through the ranks so my granddaughter could have some measure of respect in the organization.
Wait, you mean people aren't respecting you at the moment?
She says, you are Brother 3. You have been Brother 3 for how long now?
I thought I was Brother 4.
Did you go up? Are you a Brother 4?
Yeah.
I did. I got
Okay.
promoted to Brother 4 a little while ago.
At the same time when we got promoted to
Okay,
Brother
all right,
1
so
and 2.
Yeah. I suppose.
Do you know
what you're saying?
Your sister's rank is 82.
I suppose I see what you're saying. She needs respect, and I don't want her yelling at me about it. I'll go! I mean, to prove my love, I'll go.
She looks at the two of you and she says, your tasks will be preventing him from creating any problems.
I nod at them wisely and delegatingly.
She says, Boris Drunken Sword, you may go. Dao Feng, you may go. Wuji, would you please remain?
I'll stand up and leave with Dao Feng. Dao Feng, do you look really jealous of the fact that your brother's getting better treatment than you?
Bet, yeah.
But I'm actually lower ranked than him though. So.
Oh, are you? All right, you know what? No, reverse that. She's going to have Dao Feng stay.
Because I'm Brother 1 and Da Feng's Brother 2 because he's the elder.
So when they're gone, she says, it is very important to me that my granddaughter's husband rise through the ranks. You need to make sure that this mission goes well. I will personally hold you accountable if it does not.
I understand lane 87 and I bow deeply, waiting to be dismissed.
All right, she nods, and you get I mean, you're smart enough to know what's going on here. She can't just go around punishing the husband of her granddaughter. So you know
You guys are my fucking scapegoats. By the end of this campaign, you'll both be blind.
Either that or we'll have got fed up and poisoned you.
It's either him or us.
It'll be me, but that actually like heroically separates you guys from the 87 killers because you just won't be able to deal with me anymore. So you kill me and start getting hunted yourselves, and that's Richie's dream of getting yourself out of this embroiling situation.
So
I'm the martyr.
what do you do when you guys get out of the audience chamber? Oh, you took the tails, I assume, when you left.
I'll be looking
Yes.
for tails.
I think it's quite heavy. It's a chest.
It's heavy. I mean, you're rolling a cart with.
I'll be doing it. I've got muscle. I've got muscle too, so I suppose I'm probably the strongest of us.
Can we like hire someone to guard the cart? I guess, or commission someone. Like, is there anyone lower in the
back to
organization?
the house for now.
Is there anyone lower in the organization that we can sort of draw on for support for this sort of thing?
So he's 4. You're 1 and 2, right?
Yeah. But it's not just the killers. There's also like miscellaneous people, aren't there?
There are, but if you want an actual member, there's a woman they call Green Sister May. Who,
logistics.
do you want?
Is she
do
logistics?
You want to try to bring her in?
Oh, is she logistics, or is she actually like a person who helps?
Well, she's just a person who you could use. I'm sorry. Give me your ranks again, just so I'm 100% clear on this.
I'm brother 4.
So okay, so Bort, and you're what, Kenny?
1.
1, and Dao Feng is 2.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't know who 3 is because Tyler is 7.
So 3 is Green Drunken May. Or not Green Drunken May, Green Sister May, and so Boris Drunken Sword could pull rank on her and try to get her to,
The first thing that Boris Drunken Sword would do if pulling rank on her is get her to answer as to whether she's ever rubbed her husband's or children's or father's feet before.
Now the thing is, you could also just get like a servant or something like that. But the thing about ranked members is they're generally more competent. They generally have some kung fu. So if you wanted someone who's capable of guarding the cart.
I think we should be capable enough.
I mean, we're capable of guarding the cart. It's just pushing the cart and like.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
I'll put her on the cart. For now, we'll park it into my house. If needs be, we can ask my brother-in-law, Guan Yuan, for a constable.
We'll need. So we're buying 200 pounds of celestial plume. How many pounds can we carry by ourselves?
I think you could, between all 3 of you, you should be able to carry the total amount. It depends on what are you going to transport it in something? I mean, if you have a cart, one of you can do it.
Do we want to try and backpack it back? Because we did that once. Maybe ask for one constable to help.
Ask for a constable to pull it. We'll be guards for it.
Yeah.
So we'll go to River Village. We'll get the celestial plume. We'll bring it back here, and we'll keep it in my tune for now because we don't need to get Iron God Mung any more celestial plume for a couple of weeks. I think it is like a week and a half or something. We'll go out and see if we can negotiate with Longmar Hall, and then we'll return back, get the celestial plume, and then try and deliver it to Iron God Mung.
Sounds like a plan.
Yep.
Brendan, before we leave off on that though, I want to purchase some butterfly swords while we're in my turn.
Oh, sure. Just regular butterfly swords?
Yeah.
Have I been given any more allowance by Lady 87?
Oh, is it the monthly reset yet? Do we get our stipend?
Has a month gone by? I mean, has a month gone by?
I think from when we received our first stipend, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, then
we've
yeah.
only received one.
Yeah, you should be getting one once a month on the first of the month.
Okay, so how much is my stipend again? I think it's 4 tails, or it was in the past.
Do we get more now that
Yeah, I
we're
get
ranked?
more than you guys.
Yeah, let me.
Now that
hold
we're
on.
ranked in the family as well, do we
let's-
get?
I still get more than you guys.
Yeah.
Let
Well,
me
we're
get-
higher
Well,
ranked, so.
Well, if you got 4,000 the first month, you get less than us, or at least less than me.
Well,
'Cause
the first month.
Yeah, I got 6,000.
me too. That's like
You guys each got 6,000.
for the first
Yeah.
month. This is before we were numbered.
Before we
I don't
were
know if
numbered.
our
I
promotion
only got
gives us more.
4,000.
Well, you probably aren't the most responsible with your money.
Some of it went to my wife.
Yeah, 2/3 of the stipend went to her.
All right, you're getting 5,000 now, Elliot, and you guys said you were getting 6,000 before,
Yeah.
so you're getting 7,000 now.
Nice.
I'll look at my money bag in comparison to your guys, and I'll go, why do I feel like I'm not the boss?
Oh, you must have just been given larger denominations than us, boss.
And you, they have butterfly swords. They're 430 spades apiece in my gym.
So would that be 860 then, because butterfly swords are a set? Or is it 430 per set?
Per each butterfly sword. Let me
Oh,
just.
And in the
Cool.
meanwhile, can I see if I can find the someone you can ascribe or something? You can scribe the thingy on the bamboo scroll.
Yeah, you want to make the text from the bamboo scroll just sort of.
Yeah, the manual of Master Ruan, not the techniques.
Yeah, there's a guy that has a booth in the center of town, and he does a variety of script services and painting services.
Yeah. Can I get this copied onto a bamboo scroll?
He examines it and he says, "I can do this for 200 spades. It'll take me 3 days."
I'll nod and pay him 200 spades.
Just to say, I've spent 5 experience to get myself an experience in survival expertise travel.
Okay, that should come in handy.
Yeah, so now I'll be rolling 3d10 rather than 2d10.
Even if you're drunk, you're on par with me, unless it's for
Yeah,
missions and
that's
shelter.
wrong.
All right, so what do you
Or
guys,
at least for the first degree of drunkenness.
what are you guys gonna do after that?
Well, I guess it's quite late in the day now, right? Depends on what time
Yeah.
you got to
Yeah,
Stay-
it's
stay-
getting quite
stay-
late because you guys traveled all the way from Daoju and
Stay at my manor, we'll deposit the silver tails there, and I'll deal with my wife.
okay. All right, you go there and you remember you still have Avis Bao Yu in the in
Yeah, we
that
do.
cage.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that Lady 87 is dealing with that, right? She's supposed to be.
She hasn't touched her. She's just left it with Boris Drunken Sword at this point.
Well, I thought she was going to negotiate benefits or whatever from the.
Oh, she's trying to, yeah, but she hasn't dealt with Avis Bao Yu is still there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're.
It's no problem.
What was that?
I said, it's no problem.
But your wife is up when you get there, and she looks happy.
What's this strange expression you've got on your face, woman? I've never seen that before.
She just sort of smiles and she says, "I have news to tell you."
You do?
She says,
What news is this?
away from your companions.
I look at them and I go, Go busy yourselves with food or whatever.
We'll make ourselves scarce.
All right. She says we're going to have a child.
What?
She looks surprised at your
Who
reaction.
have you been cheating on me with, woman?
I've not been cheating on you.
Well, I don't remember pleasuring you. Right, was I drunk?
She said you don't remember anything.
That's true. Obviously, you're smarter than I. Hopefully, the child gets that. And my legendary liver. When is the child due?
She says, I don't know exactly, but the physician said that we can expect the child within the next 7 months.
Wow, that's crazy. Will you rub its feet?
She says, why are you still going on about feet?
You just don't understand me. You know? I want to feel like part of a family again.
She just looks at you like she's lost all respect for you, and walks out of the room.
Wait, before I forget, I pull out a stone ornamental kind of like object that's got a little bit of dried blood on it. I got this for you whilst I was away.
She takes it, and she examines it, and she says, whose blood is this?
Oh, it's mine.
She nods, and she walks away.
At least let me decide on what to call it if it's a boy. I go to the dining room and get some wine. I bark at a servant to get me wine.
Okay. All right. One of the servants grabs you some wine.
I look to see if my two friends are in the dining area as well.
Are you guys nearby? Are you guys...
Yeah, told us to get food.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna be uncles.
I'm not get that
I just look at Wuji and go like, when?
In like 7 months or something.
Oh, you're about to become a father. That's what
Yeah, indeed, yes. I'm
Congratulations,
gonna be a father.
boss.
Yeah, well, thank you. But obviously that means that you're going to have to be the uncles, because I've got no other friends in the whole world.
That's not true. Deception roll?
I don't think I'll even need to fucking roll a reasoning or anything like that to see through that lie.
What
That's
was
not
it?
true at all.
Yeah, he actually.
I said you guys are my
my.
friends in the whole world, and Wuji went, that's not true.
It's not true. We're not your friends. We're your subordinates.
Well, that's even better, because it means you can't fucking talk back to me. So you're my boys' uncles, or girls.
Well, maybe I'm gonna whisper to Dalfan. Maybe the miracles of fatherhood will finally get him to stop drinking so much.
There's a
Maybe the child would take after the mother. I hope so.
So one of the servants runs into the dining room, and he says, Master, there's a man, a priest and a monk at the door.
Oh, right, okay. I'll go see to it. I'll grab some more wine and drink it to get myself sufficiently drunk.
Oof. I'll follow along because I smell trouble.
All right. All right. So do you open the door?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll open the door and stand imposingly in the doorway with my hand resting lightly on my sword.
So there's a priest, a Yenli priest, and a monk, like a skinny monk who has sort of like a blissful expression on his face. And Kenny, you recognize the priest. It's the person that you've deduced is Wan Yu. Wan Yun. Or Yun Wan, sorry.
Yun Wan.
Yun Wan. And you guys haven't met Yun Wan before, right?
No, we haven't.
Okay.
No.
But
Did
Kenny,
Elliot's plan work?
I told you it would!
Small penis, straight up. I'll step forward and go. Greetings, friend.
I look
he
at you.
says, "Are we
quizzically.
friends?" This
I mean,
is
I
news
don't
to me.
think I am, you know?
And I'll just say, well, we had a conversation in the forest, and I feel like we are fated.
He says, "Well, fate is definitely at work today, and this will be the last day that you see."
Oh, are you Tiny Willie Yun Wan? I say, getting into
He
a
looks
sword
at
stance.
you with a puzzled expression, and he says,
Yeah, I've seen you before, and I saw your Tiny Willie. It's really small.
he says, "What are you talking about?"
Don't you play coy with me. I was just talking about how you had a Tiny Willie just the other day. And then you set one of your Tiny Willie defenders on me.
He looks at Kenny and Dao Feng, and he says, "You have killed my disciple, so I must settle the score."
I'll
with you."
go straight in right now with a cathartic blade of a dancing fox.
All right. Let me just see if he or the disciple notice it. If they don't, then you can make the attack.
Okay.
1 second. All right. So what's your stealth?
My stealth is 6.
All right. So there's a chance they might see you.
Sure.
All right. Okay. So the monk sees you and tries to intercede. Can you make a speed roll? So it's going to be you and the
Sure
monk.
thing. Okay. I got a 8 at the highest, plus 3 from sword stance is 11.
11 and... All right, so well, you're going to go first. But the monk
Okay.
is the one that you're going to have to deal with.
I'm still going to try doing cathartic blade of a dancing fox on Yun Wan. Is that possible, or does a monk manage to maneuver himself
He
so that
kind
got
of steps
attacking?
right in the middle. You know what I mean? Like intercede. So you kind of have to confront him.
Sure. So I'll use the cathartic blade of a dancing fox on him, which is speed against parry.
Okay.
I got a 7 at the highest.
A 7. Blade of the Dancing Fox against parry. Let me see. Does he have any kind of counter? All right. He's going to use Iron Body on that.
Does Iron Body work against people at higher chi rank?
Your Chi rank 4?
Yeah,
You guys are the same Chi rank.
same chi rank. That's cool. That means that I can dip of a drunken snake him.
And what was your roll again? Because he's got to make a muscle roll.
I rolled a 7.
All right, so he's going to make a muscle roll against your 7. He got a 9.
Okay, so he
so-
succeeds.
Okay, yep, yeah. So and it is kung fu techniques equal to your chi level or less is what.
Okay.
Um,
So just for purposes of calculating imbalance, I succeeded in the actual roll to execute the technique because it would have exceeded his parry. But he obviously countered it, so I just take the regular imbalance from
Correct.
the
correct.
technique things go through. I didn't fail to initialize the technique,
Correct.
so I only take 3 imbalance.
And he kind of strengthens his body, and it just feels like you've hit an iron pole. And can everybody make speed rolls now?
Yeah, do you need me to make another one,
No,
or
you
am I
can keep
still on
yours.
plan?
The two of you are going to keep your speed rolls.
Ooh, got 10. Nice.
I got 7.
A question about poisons. Could I apply stone spider venom to an arrow?
Yeah, you could.
Okay.
Steven, what did you get?
7.
7? Okay. All right, and then we just got the monk.
But
All right.
probably not cyanide, right?
Can I also call something out when I make my strike?
Yeah, you absolutely can, and you're the one to go first, Elliot.
I will yell out loud, "Brother Yuan, somebody's causing awful trouble for us," because he's next door.
Okay.
And then I will try and go in with. I'll try out another cathartic blade of a dancing fox again. Do I have to do it on the monk this time, or can I aim it for
You can
Yun
aim
Wan?
for either one of them at this point.
Okay, I'll aim for Yun Wan, and I'll try doing a cathartic blade of a dancing fox.
10.
Oh my god! I rolled a 3 at the highest. 3-2-2.
Oh. All right. So
So-
that means it's
I think that would not succeed against his parry, so that gives me 5 in balance.
all right. So Kenny, it's your turn.
Can I apply some spider? That's not instantaneous effect, is it?
It takes a while,
Um,
but
so
it might
would
horrify
cy-
them. It's a scary thing. You might at least be able to get them to run away or something, if you know what I mean.
You want to kill them, so
Yeah.
What about cyanide? Can that be applied to an arrow?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I'll try to apply some cyanide to an arrow then.
Just to say though, cyanide is most effective when it's inhaled as like smoke or something.
What about Pierce's lung? I mean, that's probably about as close to inhaling.
Aspirating cyanide probably wouldn't be very good either.
Yeah. So would that be my turn to apply cyanide to an arrow?
It would be. I guess you could do it as a move. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think you could do it, and then you could fire the arrow.
Yeah. So do I have to do a poison check to apply
Yeah, you
it?
do, because you might
So-
accidentally.
You might
Constitution-
fuck up
also-
and poison yourself.
So performance, would that be
That
the
would
one?
that would
Yeah.
definitely be it.
4d10. Ugh. Oh, 10 at the highest. Not that I
Nice.
think it makes any difference in what
Alright.
that actually
So
accomplishes.
you put cyanide on it.
Yeah.
All right. So, and are you then attacking with the arrow?
Yes, I am going to cathartically fierce arrow.
Now, here's something. We've always talked about the actual kind of semantics of fierce arrow. But is it one arrow that strikes and then ricochets, or is it 2 arrows that are fired?
Thought the arrow split.
Yeah, I think it's split arrow.
So then would that apply to cyanide to both targets?
If you coat the shaft with it,
Or to be fair, I'll probably just go cathartically rain of arrows instead of one target. How about that? We'll net that discussion in the bud. So also, although I don't know how that would work either, because rain of arrows
Only
is multiple
one arrow.
arrows.
do you have the other one, the technique where you focus the one shot?
I thought that was fierce arrow. So
Well,
Yeah,
there's
fierce
another-
arrow is one arrow that can also affect another person as well.
Okay. There is another technique, but
yeah, I don't have that one yet.
I think fierce arrow makes more sense in this case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or fierce arrow cathartically then.
Go, Kenny.
Accuracy plus 1d10, 2d10, 3, 4d10. 4d10 against evade. I got a 9 at the highest.
Okay. That is gonna hit. Let me just see if he can counter it. He's got whirling
Go on.
dodge.
Kill him in one hit. Go on.
He got a 10 on his whirling dodge roll.
Oh,
Okay.
So he evades out of the way.
But the other one as well? So because it affects multiple targets.
Oh, you're hitting both targets?
Yeah.
Let me see if the other guy got hit. What did you get in your attack roll?
9. Nice.
All right, so let me just see if he can evade it. He got a 9, so they both whirling dodge out of the way.
All right.
And it's the monk's turn.
They must have had to use those cathartically though to stand all the damage. So.
Or they just evade like minus 2d10. Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
Otherwise, they would have taken some damage.
Yeah. Did they have enough
All
space
right.
to come to whirling dodge in the doorway?
What?
Did they have
They're
enough
just
space?
outside the doorway.
Oh yeah.
So the monk pulls out his staff and whacks all of you guys with it.
I'm using a bow, so I'm not really like. I don't know how.
Oh yeah,
what
you're
sort of
probably
distance
distant.
that
You're
is.
distant from them, so you're probably gonna just hit Dalfung and Boris Drunken Sword with it.
I'll try and dip of a drunken snake it if he
All
succeeds.
right, he got a 7 on his attack roll.
And that's against parry, is it?
Yep.
My parry is 7. So I
So
will
is
try.
mine.
I will try doing a dip of a drunken snake as a counter.
Okay.
So if anyone attacks you with a melee attack, you can use this counter. On a success, you bend back and avoid the strike, then swiftly bounce back to deliver a potent blow of your own mundane strike, but at a plus 1d10 damage bonus per rank of Waija. This does not work against characters with chi levels higher than you, but we've already established that he's not. So this is the first time I can use dip of a drunken snake. It's athletics against attack roll.
I will cathartically whirling dodge.
Ooh, you know what? I'm going to try and do this cathartically as well. That might use up all my imbalance, but it would be very useful.
Yeah, I
It
got
would make
7.
my damage open.
I got 7 on the whirling
Oh
dodge.
shit, I've got a 4 and a 4, and my diddy die fell off the table. Please,
So, Steven,
diddy
you
die!
made the whirling dodge. You got out of the way.
Alright, cool.
Oh, god damn it!
So you got hit.
8 and then it bounced to 4, so I rolled a 4, 4 and a 4. I fail with dip of a drunken snake cathartic. Not only that, my imbalance is pushed up to 18 out of 16.
All right. So this is going to be a little bit painful.
Chi
for you.
imbalance.
All right. So what's your hardiness?
I'm slightly drunk at the moment, so that's 9.
All right. So you're not affected by the strike then.
Okay, but I have achieved chi imbalance because I failed my cathartic.
Okay. We will resume with that. It's Dalfung's turn.
Okay. I will storm and daggers on the both of. No, I'll just use it regularly at the monk. 4. Yeah, that'd be 4. I got a 5 on the attack. I don't think that hits.
Okay. Let me just double check. What is that against?
Against evades.
No, that doesn't hit him. All right, so he's gonna. All right. He doesn't have a whole lot of choices here. All right, so he spins his fly whisk and creates a big burst of energy, and it just like booms out. It hits at everybody, and it's an 8 against evade.
Okay, my evade's 5, so that would hit me. I am going to. I've got imbalance already at a large extent, but I've got to try and do a cathartic whirling dodge if I want to counter this. So.
How does that work? Can you spend more imbalance after you've already hit your threshold?
Then,
I'm sorry, no, you can't. You cannot.
so I can't counter it then, is that the case?
Probably. You're in a something really weird is happening to you right now, and so which we'll address when combat winds down. But basically, you're being overtaken by your chi. So
Right, but that means that I'm guessing this guy's a higher chi rank than us, this Yun 1. He's probably chi rank
Yeah.
6, I'd expect.
well, he's higher.
So, I can't attempt to do any kind of counter against him at the moment.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
Because you've got to do a counter
I'll just do
cathartic.
I'll do a cathartic whirling dodge.
Yeah, same.
Oh, got 9.
Ooh, I got a 9 as well, and a 5.
All right, so you guys both whirling dodge out of the way, and Elliot, the effect does not harm you. So that was the first round. It's almost 7, so I'm going to have to end it here in the middle of combat, unfortunately.
Can I ask one question just before we wind this down?
Oh yeah.
Does Guan Yuan come rushing about?
So he is going to, but he's not gonna make it for 8 more rounds.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
What about the wife?
Yeah.
do you want your pregnant wife to
That's a good
You might choose to intercede.
There's actually a reason why Boris Drunken Sword hadn't called for his wife and called instead for Guan Yuan.
But I'm gonna end it here.